Welcome back. It's the Big Blue Banter, New York Giants football podcast. I'm Dan Schneider, joined as always by my co-host Nick Velato. Tonight we're coming to you after the Giants fall to 2-8 with a loss to the Chicago Bears in Chicago. That's my Chicago
That
accent.
wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad, actually, Dan.
I lived there for a little while in Madison, Wisconsin. You got to just turn every word with an A, and so instead of apple, it would be ample. You got to do the and. Yeah,
no,
that's
that's
a hard
terrible.
But anyway, I'm get that accent out of my mind, Nick. And I'll start the show off by asking you, does Brian Daboll make it through Monday, or does he get fired by the New York Giants on Monday? I'm going to put the proverbial you-know-what to your head and make you make this choice now.
Yeah, so I think so, man. I do kind of think so, but I'm sure in like 2 days it won't happen. But if Mara was as close to firing Brian Daboll after the Denver game, we don't really know that, of course. But if that report is true, then I have to imagine he's going to now. And again, a lot of this, I think, is contingent on the Giants' interest in some of the younger coaches that are on their staff, Mike Kafka, because this is how many times can we go through this? How many times, ladies and gentlemen? And I'm watching this game and I'm like, they're gonna do it again. I cannot believe the Giants are going to do this again. I'm so frustrated. I'm pissed off, but I'm also just not surprised. And I'm like somewhat just done getting like overly mad, I guess, or frustrated with this product that I know is rotten. It's a rotten product. This locker room right now, this coaching staff, everything with the New York Giants, it's a defeatist mentality. And I'm not saying this to be mean or crass, but they're losers. Like, it's a loser mentality right now with the New York Giants. And you don't want that for a team that you root for, right? And I'm not calling those players specifically losers, right? But you sense the energy. It's like, oh, the Bears picked up a first down. The Giants decided to, I don't know, go for it at the or don't go for it and kick a 19-yard field goal. And then you see the Bears and what they end up doing on those two final drives that they had. And you just know that like all the energy is deflated. The defense is not going to be able to come up with a stop for all the reasons that Dan and I have been talking about all season now. And they're just going to lose a football game. And that is exactly what happened yet again, dude. So to circle back to your question, I do kind of think Brian Daboll might lose his job tomorrow, which is, is unfortunate for him professionally. But at this point, the Giants got to do something. You can't just keep rolling this out here. This is another just devastating, catastrophic, and frankly, really embarrassing loss for John Mara and the Giants ownership.
Yeah, I think, I never would have predicted they would fire Daboll in season before the year. And obviously, if that report, which is just as simply a report, there's no facts or evidence behind it, is true that they almost fired him after Denver, he's a guarantee to be fired. I would lean toward that report is untrue, and yet I still lean toward he will be fired tomorrow morning. I don't think this is acceptable. This, you have one of these a year with Denver. All right, you write it off. You have two of these this year with Denver and Chicago, and this one was way more feeble, way more pathetic, in my opinion, than any of the others. And at that point, you fire him. And I posed the question, like, what's to be gained by firing him? Well, what's to be gained is potentially getting rid of Nick. I thought about it a little bit more, potentially getting rid of this losing culture. I really believe, I've talked in the past about culture, Nick, and I've talked in the past about how I believe in culture, and I believe it's important, but I believe winning is what breeds culture. And what I mean by winning is not winning 3 DeVito games in a lost season. I mean winning football games over and over again, being a team that gets back to the playoffs every year, that has that culture built. But there's also the flip side of it. Brian Daboll has built and instilled a very losing culture that I've quite never seen in my lifetime as a fan. You can point to Judge, you can point to Shermer, all these other guys who have failed here. It wasn't like this. They didn't have the games and opportunities that Daboll had. Daboll's had so many opportunities to win football games with the Giants. Leads in the fourth quarter this year by 10 points. He's lost all 4. He's 0-4 with 10-point leads in the fourth quarter. And that goes back to last year and the year before as well, and his first year even. And he's lost almost every one of them. In this game, Nick, I said to myself, I think the Giants are going to win this game, even once the collapse started happening, because I was like, law of averages, right? Like, eventually, when you coach to not to lose, like he does every single time he has the opportunity to, you win one of them. That's the whole point of coaching, not to lose. It's worked at times, right? No one would be still doing it in the NFL. No coach would be still doing it if it didn't work. I've seen it work for Andy Reid. I've seen it work for Sean McVay at times, even Kyle Shanahan. But we're not the guys that make it work. And Brian Daboll's certainly not that guy. He loses every single one of these games he coaches not to lose. And whether you want to get into me, if you were in the replies bashing me for not liking that decision to not go for it from the half-yard line on 4th and goal or not, even though ultimately it did decide the game in some ways because that 4 points would have been a tie game. It's a half yard. It's a half yard. I don't care if Russell Wilson is, and I don't care if you bring back Johnny. I don't think you bring back a corpse and put him in there and just push him forward. It's a half yard. You will sneak that in. 99% of the time you are sneaking. I don't believe that Russell Wilson will do it. No, it's a half football yard. You get the good penalty. You have a second chance after the penalty. You move the ball. You spot at the half yard line. You snap it, and you have somebody full back behind you, push you forward into the end zone. You lean the ball over, and you're going to reach that goal line. You're going to score that touchdown. And you could see it, man. You could see it on the sideline when Fox panned to the Giants players. They were so amped to go for it on that fourth down. And then imagine taking all the air out of them by kicking that field goal from 19 yards. And then we get to a 4th and 3 on the very next possession, Nick, up 20-10. We made it our 2-score game with 10 minutes ago. What bad could happen? You got to make it a 2-score game. What's the worst that can happen? Once you make it a 2-score game with 10 minutes ago, you're going to win the game, right? No, wrong. We've seen them lose these games over and over again, Nick. And then what happens on 4th and 3? We rush 3 and we drop 8. We literally rush 3 and drop 8 on 4th and 3 on the very next possession. The chance to just end the game right there. So it's a culture of losing that's carried over to the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. And what he's instilled now, Daboll, is this, this feeling the Giants have of even the players, I bet, of we're going to blow this somehow. We're going to blow this somehow. We're somehow going to blow this with our run, pass, punt game script at the end of games when we have any kind of lead whatsoever. So because of that, I do believe there's something to be gained, Nick, and I think they'll fire him tomorrow. They'll make Kafka the interim coach, which is interesting, too, because you give him a shot and you see what he can do. And then I hope as part of that move, they fired Shane Bowen as well, because I don't want to see him coordinate another game for this Giants defense. Because I watched the Colts and I watched the Falcons earlier in that Island game, and every time at the end of those games, they put 8-9 guys in the line of scrimmage, and they said, F you. I'm not putting our safeties deep. F you. You got to beat us here. We're going to press your receivers with our corners. You got to beat us. We're going to blitz your ass. And it led to so much havoc and incomplete passes from those two quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't. The thing that makes this tricky is if you fire Daboll, I don't know if, I would love for Shane Bowen not to be the coordinator. I think everybody who listens to the show understands that at this point, but that would be a lot for the head coach to overcome, right? And that'd be a lot of new people trying to do very important jobs in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, but yeah, I think Shane Bowen should be gone, but I agree overall with Brian Daboll. Look, how many can you continue to roll this out here? Can we actually continue to do this? This is another catastrophic loss, as we said, and it is a mentality thing, even though I don't think it's a conscious thing that the players are like, oh man, I'm a loser. No, of course not. But it is we have a is 14 points enough? I mean, there's only 7. Is that enough of a lead? Is 10 points? It's one of those things that is in the back of their minds.
Yeah.
And it's not just because dummies like me are saying it, right? It's not just like this media driven thing. It's because when push comes to shove, the Giants falter. They fall.
Perhaps so, yeah.
And have so.
Think they would win one of these.
And this, yeah, exactly. And this goes, and you can say the Chargers game, and it's like, fine, okay, yes, they won the Chargers game. But this goes to my overall point. When it comes to not going for it at the half-yard line, and you kick that field goal to go up 10, yeah, I get that. That is a coaching decision. It's conservative, whatever. Brian Daboll, your job is more than likely done. Right here, right? This is a lost season. You're 2-7 entering this game. Why not try to go for the gut? Why not try to punch Ben Johnson right in the freaking gut and take this victory? No, it wouldn't have been a sure thing, especially for the New York Giants, as we know, right? But why not try to dictate? Why not try to dictate? It's not that your offense has necessarily proven that it should dictate, even though that was one of their best drives. They ran the football well throughout that entire drive, right?
Yes.
But why not have that gumption, that fortitude to go for it there? Instead, you kick it. When I see a field goal and it has a 1 next to it, that's the first number is a 1. I'm like, who's kicking a field goal where you're that close, right?
It's probably the closest field goal kicked in NFL history, I would bet. The half-yard line. Can't imagine a kick being. Has it been closer than the half-yard line in NFL history? Someone in the comments probably might know. There might have been a weird end-of-game scenario to win the game. You need a quarter-inch field goal or something from the quarter-yard line, but I can't imagine there's been many closer.
There are so many things that we could talk about with this storyline. We can get into the game itself, which was frustrating. There were some glimpses.
Not really, right? The Giants rolled in this game. Jackson Dart was unbelievable. He threw for 200 in the first half.
No, yeah, Jackson Dart is amazing. It's frustrating, though, because the Giants end up blowing it, and there's a lot of frustrating, stupid penalties that kill drives. There's special teams, like a 27-yard kick.
Nick, and I'm going to catch off. I just want to make my point to be clear. There was all of that, and yet still they're driving, dominating the whole game. Jackson Dart fumbled. At no point should the Giants have lost this football game. They were clearly the better team until they. That is the point, though. That is the point right there. You just said it. The point is they're the better team. How many times can we say that? They're the better team, but they find a way to lose, and that's a coaching. Or they were at least in this.
That is a mentality issue.
They're not the better team. We clearly know that. One team
Yes,
6-3, the other's 2-8. They're clearly the worse football team than the Bears. Let's make that clear in case any Bears fans are listening. But in this game, they were the better team. In this game, Jackson Dart outplayed Caleb Williams until he didn't, right? And that's the whole thing. Like, it's like they're the better team. They're rolling in the game, and yet they just think like any lead is good enough. We can just go run, pass, punt. We can just get field goals from wherever we want. We can rush 3 and drop 8, and we'll win the game somehow. And they never end up winning the game somehow.
No, they never end up winning the game. And again, there's a lot of decisions that are just made mid-game and even before the game. Like, why is Russell Wilson our second quarterback?
That's something I tweeted about as well. It makes literally no sense. And I hope next week they fire Daboll, bring in Kafka, and he promotes Jameis.
It should be, because the offense goes into a complete shell. It's like,
yeah,
we're only doing this to placate Russell Wilson. That's the only reason why the Giants are doing it. And it's already because, like, Jameis is still on the sidelines. He could still help. Like, he is a competent backup quarterback if you wanted to make the argument that it was a Jackson Dart thing, right? Like, oh, you want Russell Wilson because he's a veteran and won a Super Bowl. You want him to be the back. Like, anytime something happens to Jackson Dart and he's in the blue medical tent, whether Brian Daboll's in there with him or not, the offense just craps the bed. It's like they don't want to call plays with this guy back there because they don't trust him, because through the tape we've seen with Russell Wilson as a New York Giant, he's untrustworthy. But it would be a damn thing if the Giants actually had somebody else on this roster, wouldn't it, Dan? Wouldn't it be great if the Giants had another quarterback that they could put in those situations who has a long resume of, I would at least say, exciting and somewhat competent football, albeit there are mistakes. And I'm not trying to, promote this guy into Canton or anything, but holy crap, it would be a lot different than what we're seeing from Russell Wilson right now. So why is that not happening? That's one of many things. The special teams issues. That's
adds to the, and by the way, that adds to the losing culture, right? If you have your quarterback 2 come into the football game and you have another option to be your quarterback 2 in Jameis Winston, but you choose the other guy, Russell Wilson, the veteran, like you said, to placate toward, whatever it would be. And then you go into that kind of shell. What are you telling your team? That's not coaching to win. That's coaching not to lose. That's just coaching scared. That's just really bad, really, really bad. And I can't imagine being on a football team or in any kind of competitive sport and getting into a situation like that, where I look around and my coach has put in a player who he doesn't trust to operate any kind of drop back pass game whatsoever. It was like watching Jake Fromm, but he's not Jake Fromm. He's Russell Wilson. You got to trust him to do something. And if you don't, and you think he's shot at this point without neighbors to bail him out, well, then you take him out and you put it, not this game. Obviously, Winston couldn't play, but you don't have him as the QB2 in the first place. There's never any real reason for him to be QB2. And I want to make one thing clear. I don't want to disparage with that comment earlier, Caleb Williams, who I actually thought played pretty damn well today. He had did a great job escaping pressure. He had a few dimes that were dropped for touchdowns, 2 of them, I believe. But I still think, despite all that, Jackson Dart outplayed him. Dart looked more comfortable in the pocket. Dart looks more composed, I think, in the pocket. I think he throws a better ball placement overall than Caleb Williams. He has the ability to throw with trajectory and not just drive the football at all times. And in addition to that, he lit it up for 200 in the first half with guys like Slayton and Theo catching all of his passes. He doesn't have Romo Dunze. He doesn't have Luther Burden. He doesn't have Colston Loveland, right? So there's a different scenario there as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I generally agree with that. I thought Caleb played fantastic.
They both played well.
And he, especially in the fourth quarter, I felt like he just put the team on his back and it was all him. And when it comes to the escaping sacks,
very true.
When it comes to the escaping sacks, it was remarkable. It was remarkable. It was like a superpower for Caleb Williams, because there were so many times where I was like, "Oh, Burns, you got never mind. No. Kayvon. Oh, okay, never mind." And then you see like Dexter do his Dex dance. You see Abdul get his first sack, both negated by penalties. The Giants commit 10 penalties for like 69 yards, and then the Bears only commit like 3 for like 25 because they're an undisciplined team, and because in the secondary they grab all the time, and this team desperately misses Paulson Adebo. Even Cordell Flott looked bad in this game. Drew Phillips did not look great. Yet Tay Banks, he's Tay Banks. He's going to do Tay Bank like things. You have to bank on that, right? So it's a bunch of issues though from the secondary standpoint. But even still, the Giants were not allowing a lot of points defensively because the Bears couldn't get out of their own way offensively, and it's because guys like Olamide Zaccheaus, who was employed by the New York Giants in this game, it was like one of those things where it's like if I went out there and played, like every time he went to go catch a football, that's what it like looked like, right? Like it didn't look like a professional athlete out there. It was a really bad game for him. I'm not trying to pick on him right now.
I think some of those throws were really hot, really flat, and really outstretched hands, but it is what it is. I know everything has to be caught if it hits your hands, but at least 2 of those were like outstretched hands.
I mean, there's no way you're going to, I know you're not trying to like excuse that Olamide Zaccheaus looked terrible in this game.
No, he's not.
And he came up
going to get benched for Burden for sure. Yeah.
Huge drops and big moments where I was like, yeah, wow, we're getting the benefit here, boys. Let's go.
Think he doesn't throw the most catchable football, Caleb Williams, at all times, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It's not completely independent of what I'm saying. But
yeah.
My overall point is the Bears were sloppy. The Bears were pretty sloppy, and you can include Caleb in that as well. And the Giants weren't allowing them to score points with that too. Like they were just doing what they had to do. You know, they had a couple big runs that they were surrendering 16, 25 yards here. But then they would brick up a little bit, you know, force a field goal attempt or turnover on downs on a lot of those for it. I think both of the teams were 1-4 on fourth down situations. But, you know, at the end of the day, you knew it would end up faltering down the stretch if the Giants were put into that position. That's one of the reasons why I wish Daboll, when he's on the 1 yard line, would just be like, you know what, screw this. Like, let me try to reclaim some kind of confidence. Let me show confidence in the team. Even if the team hasn't necessarily proven that we should all be confident in them, let me try to inspire them with this play call to get a half yard, even if it is with Russell Wilson, right? Because none of this matters at this point when it comes to, obviously you want to win the game, but the risk reward is on my side here, because the Giants, if you don't get that, Caleb is pinned back in his own territory with the clock ticking under 10, right? I really wish he went for it there. I thought that was a very pusillanimous, to use this word, pusillanimous decision.
Yeah, I've made that clear as well. I'm not going to get back into it with the people who went on the replies. I don't care. I've said my piece, Cushy. I've said my piece, Cushy. I'll just leave it at that. Not great. My still impression is not great. I've tried to do that one a lot.
Well, that was still.
Yeah, you don't remember that scene?
I do, but I knew it was a Sopranos reference, but I wasn't sure if you were trying to go for Syl or even Tony.
Yeah, because it's like I walked into Bada Bing, your head was in the toilet. Disgusting. I said my piece, and then he's like, "Whoa, you fucking all those whores, Syl? What about that?" I said my piece, Chrissy. I said my piece. I don't know. I can't do a good impression of it. It's one of my favorite lines in the entire show.
It was better. It was better.
With that said, you got to get you really have to get the, you know how Syl has that, I'm blanking on the word. When you have that a lisp, the Syl lisp, you got to get the lisp in. And I'm not great at doing a lisp accent, but today is about the Giants. So I'll get back to on track. But I've said my piece about that, so I don't need to get back into that. You can believe what you want about how important those points were at that point. Those 3 points were at that point. I mean, Greg Olsen outlined it perfectly. Even if you don't get it, you're putting them at the half yard line. First of all, you're getting it. It's a half yard. You can put anyone in at quarterback, sneak and push him, and he could just put the ball here for a goddamn touchdown. It's a half goddamn yard. But even if you don't, they're all the way backed up. At best, they're going to get 1 first down or a couple. I mean, they might drive the whole way, but they also might be forced to punt, put you back in field position. They also might take a safety, a holding call in the end zone or something like that. So it is what it is on that front, but it's the whole thing, man, Nick. It's the run, pass, punt. It's the drop 8, rush 3. It's a whole thing, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very frustrating with this team, as we obviously know.
Yeah, I know. And maybe change is coming. I mean, there were some other positives, like Darius Slayton and Theo Johnson caught footballs and you know, good catches too, mind you, like the back shoulder, one-handed. Yeah, Slayton definitely, and so did Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson was actually efficient with his hands. And then you had the Devin Singletary long run, like the 41-yard catch and run up the sideline. I thought he was going to house that for a second. I was like, wow, right? And then obviously the play of Jackson, dart. The Giants couldn't run the football at all, so they had to devise quarterback runs. Quarterback power, counter, bash runs that were all successful, and that's a credit to whoever's devising that. It could be Daboll, it could be Kafka, even though people don't want to hear that. But when you do that, the catch-22 to it is you're putting your young quarterback in a position where he can get injured. That's exactly what happened. And the fumble was, I would say, the turning point of this game. It was when he put that on the deck. And I ain't going to sit here and blame him. What was that, like his 6th or 7th carry? At that point, it was the only yards the Giants were getting on the deck.
Yeah, we win this football game. Obviously, the Giants win the game if that doesn't happen. But the Giants also don't win this game if Jackson Dart doesn't make all those throws in the first half and give them all those chances to score and all those other plays he made. So it's not like one play can be defined as the reason they lost this football game, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, man, I thought the first half, that was one of the best we've seen of that. And it was so frustrating because at first, Nick, we were running every single first down. We called a run. Every single first down, we called a run. because these guys suck and they're coached not to lose. And then every single second and long, we called a run. And then finally, someone knocks some goddamn sense. I'm trying not to use that phrase. Yeah. Someone knocked some sense into Daboll or Kafka, whoever it was, and said, we got to start calling play action on these first downs. We got to start looking to use the pass game to open up the run. We got to put some trust in this quarterback. And immediately when they did that, he proved them right by starting to move the football inside the pocket, outside of the pocket. He had a backside dig to Slayton that was phenomenal in the first half. Absolutely phenomenal. Layered it over the second level, in between the third level. I can't wait to watch that on tape. We've had so many backside digs already. He had another one. He's rolling to the left. He's doing that bootleg action. It's designed to get to Theo. Theo's covered. Usually the play's dead. You see a quarterback grounded or run. He finds the backside and hits Slayton. He had the throw on the run to Theo near the sideline. That was awesome stuff, out of structure, off script. I mean, he looked awesome. The seam ball to Theo, perfectly thrown. Back shoulder, perfect spot. Even the Bellinger play that was ruled no touchdown. That was a great throw as well by Jackson Dart. He was cooking in the first half with no one to throw to as usual because we don't have any depth at wide receiver. So that's the positive to take away, right? Like Jackson Dart had a really good game.
Jackson Dart had an excellent game. Just hope the concussion isn't anything serious, and hopefully he can get the protocol for next week, just so we can watch him and enjoy. I wonder what the Giants would do though if he can't. Now I know we're kind of going in the future, but will they roll with Russell Wilson or will they actually give Jameis the chance? I don't know. I really think it says something if you roll Russell Wilson out there though.
Yeah, over Jameis. Yeah.
At this point, that'd be tough. But it's another just a devastating, frustrating game. I got my laptop over here and I'm looking at the game log that I have, and I'm just reflecting back on the drive where after the Giants defense, to their credit, forced a turnover on downs when the Giants did go for that 19-yard field goal by Young Hoku. It was the offensive line with those stupid penalties. It's like little things like that, right? Like 2 consecutive penalties. You had a false start and then a holding, I believe.
False start and then maybe an offensive pass interference.
No, because they were both the offensive line. It was
okay. I'm thinking of the wrong
it was Runyon and Austin Schlottman, and it's just like now you have Russell Wilson in this second and 12, and then it gets into a 3rd and 7 situation, and they do not convert. He actually got sacked and lost 11 yards on that next play. It's like there's always a drive like that in these games for the New York Giants where they go out, they just commit stupid penalties, they go backwards, and then they punt the football. And their punting recently has just been atrocious with Jamie. You know, I still can't believe he shanked that for 27.
Yeah, he's been 27. He's so bad that me and my dad golf clap celebrated him getting one of these. You know, we've had a million of these punts inside opponent's territory because Daboll's a coward, and we golf clapped him getting one that wasn't touched back for like a net of 23 yards like we've been getting. It was like, oh, you got one to like the 11. Good job, buddy. Like that's a great coffin corner for you. And we're paying this guy too. Like we extended him on a multi-year deal. And then we've got Graham Gano on a multi-year deal. It's like you're paying for the specialist. Well, then they better be pretty good.
Yeah, and they're not. Graham's case, he can't even find the football field right now, unfortunately. And then with Jamie, I mean, that 20, like you sent the opening kickoff out of bounds. Yeah, and then you land the other one before the landing zone. So that's 2 drives. The Bears are starting at their own 40-yard line in a game that is going to be won because of field position. Like this game is going to be won because of field position, because of the wind and all that kind of stuff. So that's vital. And this is in your punter is just your kicker, punter, whatever you want to call him. He's just giving the Bears these great opportunities. And then he can rectify that with a good punt at the end of the game. There was still 3 minutes left. I had no faith the Giants defense was going to be able to stop Caleb Williams and that. But the sheer fact that you sent the punt 27 yards, allowing the Bears to start their drive, I think at their 47-yard line is just like, of course that would happen. Why would that not happen? I don't know why that would not happen, right? So it's so fitting for this 2025 Giants.
It's very fitting. It's very fitting, and it's very frustrating for the New York Giants. I would say there's another play that really bothered me late in the game where they had Abdul Carter spying Caleb Williams. He had like 1,000 seconds behind the line of scrimmage, eventually found a solution. I think it was to Loveland. It's like, bro, just freaking move these guys forward, man. I mean, how the hell do we go into a game, Nick, against a left tackle? I think it's their 2nd or 3rd string left tackle, the Bears, who's been getting killed week after week. And we can't kill the guy. I would argue that the Giants did kill them. They just, much like the New York Giants, they can't finish. Because there was a lot, and we'll verify all this on the tape, but there were a lot of times where I saw 5-0 just going around the edge, and I'm like, oh, Caleb sacked. And then Caleb was magnificent with his ability to evade. Yeah, I mean, it could just be Caleb doing a good job. It's really all just blurred together in a very frustrating way. I mean, you have the 4th and 2 play where the Flott and Corey Black can't make a tackle. And DeAndre Swift is not even like a great yards after contact kind of runner. So you just have all these frustrating plays that blend together in your head in a game like this.
That was one with fouls, right? Fouls and fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, I mean, fouls. And honestly, if
maybe it wasn't Black, it was fouls and Flawed. I mean,
yeah, but the defense, he actually played well from what I saw. I would like to see it on
people are said he plays well. And I'll take a look at the all-22. Hopefully he played okay. I mean,
you can't really play too much worse than Muasau was playing like over the last 2 weeks before his injury. Now he's on the IR. So overall though, man, this is the New York Giants. We're used to this, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. I'm trying to think of what else we can really focus on. I really wanted to, because like it's bleak. Like the Giants might have another coach tomorrow, right? The Giants, like that could realistically happen. Yeah, that could realistically happen. And maybe we'll look like fools tomorrow when that doesn't happen. But I mean, I have to imagine that like there are some serious conversations going on with the Tisch and Mara family about the immediate future. And I just hope Jackson Dart's okay too, obviously with the concussion.
Yeah, that's the key. And we'll see. I mean, look, this was the 4th time this season. I think somebody said in the comments that Jackson Dart was evaluated for a concussion. That's not sustainable. So, I mean, look, you're finding success with these quarterback runs today. We scored 2 touchdowns on them. The second one was beautiful. You'll have fun breaking that one down on film. But like at the same time, like it's the risk. It may not be worth the reward at this point. We have to seriously start to evaluate if the risk is worth the reward on this. He's not Josh Allen, he's not a 6'5", 250-pound freak who can apparently just do all this. And by the way, the Bills don't call 4 or 5 design runs in a game for Josh Allen. That's not something they do, and they have been doing anymore. Maybe early in his career, that's not something you do with franchise quarterbacks. So losing Daboll, people say, oh, what's going to happen if we lose Daboll? It's the worst. But all this development for Dart is down the drain. I don't know. I think Jackson Dart looks pretty damn good right now. And I think as long as you get a competent offensive coach in there, it might not matter. It might not matter who all the development you lost by losing Daboll. So, there's a lot of frustrating aspects of this game, Nick. I don't know, man. Let's get to some super chats.
Well, we have a elite super chat from Issa right here. It says, could the Giants have a metamorphosis with Kafka? It's a good old Franz Kafka reference. His book, Metamorphosis, elite fiction book, if anybody wants to go and check that out. And I don't know if it would be too much of a metamorphosis. I think the Giants are just trying to keep their head above the water a little bit and try to get as much oxygen as they can. But hopefully an angered father does not throw an apple like what happened in the book Metamorphosis that got stuck in the lead character's side. Anyways, but thank you very much, Isser. He also says, ugly. The whiff punt took me all the way back to the 1986 Sean Landeta whiff in Chicago playoff game. Why put in Russ versus Jameis? 0 chance to win. And then he says, even Slayton and Theo making catches can't save us. Yeah, those were some nice catches by Darius Slayton. And the Giants, I mean, in this, they used 12 personnel a lot. Like you saw a lot of Daniel Bellinger out there, not as much Ray. Yep. It's what we expected. But I knew Ben Johnson was going to have fun with whatever the Giants decided to roll out against their 12 personnel. There was the play. I'm pretty sure it was 12 personnel in the red zone. I'm shocked the Giants weren't nickel to match that, but they did. And Kmet was the fullback, and he just ran over Drew Phillips when a young guy ran in for his touchdown early in the football game. But
the Giants played 12 personnel, actually, according to I got this from Doug Analytics, at the second highest rate by an offense in any game this season. And they had 354 yards when in 12 personnel, which was also the second most by any team in any game since 2016. So not only did they run it at an insane rate, they were as good running it as you can basically get. And that's a credit to Jackson Dart, right? Like 12 personnel is cool and all, and good job on you. But like it's Bellinger, Theo, Slayton, and whoever the third receiver or second receiver is in that personnel. Like that's not like you shouldn't be having the second best success since 2016 with that group unless you're doing a lot on your own. Jackson Dart, it really is like, hitting backside digs, making these throws on the run. It's a lot Jackson Dart.
That one drive, man, I was like, dude, this is an insane drive by Jackson Dart.
He was rolling.
Yeah, some of those throws. Was that the Daniel Bellinger drive, the one that was dropped?
I'm not sure. He had 2 really good drives toward the end before the concussion.
Yeah, damn concussion. But yeah, it is something, man. 12 personnel. It's kind of the only thing the Giants can do.
Yeah,
at this
point,
like
of the offense.
Yeah, you don't have Cam Scadaboo anymore. You don't have Malik Neighbors anymore. You're rolling out little Jordan Humphrey and Ray McLeod, who have not been here. Well, Ray has not been here that long. Little Jordan Humphrey is little Jordan Humphrey. That's not a slight. He's just not necessarily somebody who is going to move the needle as an 11 personnel weapon from the passing attack standpoint. So it's good on the Giants for being able to figure it out through 12, but still not enough. Igor, thank you. Said the Giants are terrified of playing Russ, but have a great backup quarterback that inexplicably is inactive. Yeah. Yeah. We Dan and I talked about that pretty extensively earlier. It's got to, you have to do something at this point. You have to dress Jameis Winston, I think. Like, how many times are we going to see Russell Wilson relieve Jackson Dart? And it's the same thing. It's like the Giants don't even want to have the football on offense.
Correct.
Igor, thank you. I remember in 2002 in a game against the Colts, Tony Dungy kicked a field goal on a 4th and goal on the goal line. The announcers were surprised even back then.
I don't remember that too. That's awesome though. What a call by him on the goal line. It's so pathetic. To me, it's just so pathetic. I mean, look, if it's the end of the half and you want to kick a field goal, I'm perfectly fine with that. If you can get 7 or 0, or I'm sorry, if it's 3 or 0 and you don't get them to have the ball on their own 1-inch line or 1/2 line, when you put the opposing offense on the half, if you miss it, it's just not for me. It's bad.
Ah, man. Isser with another clever comment here. Kicking game literally still a pain in the neck. Yeah. Sai, thank you so much. That field goal at the 1 was one of the most pathetic calls I've ever seen. Yeah, it's tough.
With you, Sai, but not everyone agrees with us, but I'm with you.
Especially with everything considered, right? Like the state of the team, that could have been a moment where, you're not going to salvage your job, but you might have, you at least tried to dictate your future win. Like you tried to dictate, you tried to actually take command instead of being like, oh, I'll just rely and play the conservative, like timid type of football. And so that's unfortunate. Isser again, what's up, bro? Says, why not challenge the Bellinger touchdown drop? Not that it would have saved us. Hope Dart gets well soon. Excited to see the next coach does with Jackson Dart. Yeah, same here. I thought there were 2 calls that were like really close, and I don't feel like the broadcast did a good job showing them. The Bellinger one a little bit more, but the Bellinger, and then did Dart not get the fumble back when he coughed it up? Like, what happened with it? I guess he didn't like tuck it close. I didn't really get a good.
I'm not sure. It popped back in, and it's probably just it was hard for him to grip it. I don't know. It's a cold game.
And then with the Bellinger, like I'm cool with the Bellinger catch or not catch being ruled not a catch, but I swear I've seen in the NFL like plays like similar where it's like, well, you had control and you know what I mean? And rules have like changed over the years, but I'm okay with that not being ruled a touchdown because you got to survive the ground and survive the defender through the ground. And
I didn't think they were going to call that a touchdown.
Clarence, thank you so much. Need to rely less on Dart's legs. He looked good under center today. Time to let him operate a traditional drop back passing game. And that's something that I'm glad you brought up, Clarence, because he did look good under center today. And this kid, I don't know when the last time he was under center, like this is not something that happens too frequently for him. And he was able to work the play action. I felt like his footwork looked good and with all those drops and everything, had answers. It's different when you just catch a snap and you see everything, but when you have to like drop back, do a play action, 5-7 step drop, hit the back foot, turn and then survey what the defense is doing. That's a completely different animal than catching it out of shotgun, going into a mesh point, reading the defender and then attacking. And he still handled that well. And that's one thing that we could take away from all this, ladies and gentlemen. If we're going to look glass half full, it is that the Giants have a quarterback, right? This is a quarterback that the Giants have right now, somebody who is playing well. And that I'm very excited for the future because of that. It's just, we don't know what the future holds or who is going to be assisting Jackson Dart in that journey, because obviously there's going to be a lot of changes at the end of the season or sooner.
Yeah.
Bird 67. Thank you. I think it's time to give Kafka his trial. Yes, I agree. That's another great one, by the way. That's another Franz Kafka reference. Love it. Thank you, Bird 67. Yeah, Isser asked, Nick, what happened on the 2 Illuminor missed blocks? I'm not 100% sure. I need to check the tape and see exactly. It seemed like, I don't know, if he just wasn't accounting for it. Did he think Theo was going to take the far guy? Did he think it was a 6-man? It might have been a miscommunication, but again, I would like to see the tape to really opine on that. And then your average fan, what's up, bud? Says Dart came back into the game too. Yeah. Concussed on the fumble, played 2 more snaps, unless he got it on the handoff to the. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not good.
Hey, he went in there, he played 2 more snaps, and then out of the third quarter break, I see Russell Wilson in there, and I'm like, that's not Jackson Dart. I'm like, what the happened? And I'm like, nope. So that is not good. And then Igor, thank you, said weird how the run game woke up that first rush drive. Yeah, it was. And it did too. Like they were running the football well and they were hitting creases. Both Singletary and Tyrone Tracy Jr. woke up on that drive. And then I think there was like a Tyrone Tracy Jr. 16-yard run that wasn't on that drive. And other than that, the Giants did not run the football at all outside of design quarterback runs. And that was our last super chat right now.
Yeah.
So we can see what's good. But yeah, man, this is just tough, man. Just tough. We need more from the defense, even like the pass rush. Yeah, you're getting you gotta find a way to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've stuck up a lot for the Giants edge rushers. I think rightfully so, because I don't think they're being maximized by the current defensive coaching staff. But at that same time, there were a lot of opportunities where it was just like execution and finish, and don't allow the quarterback to trick you. And the quarterback had a lot of tricks up his sleeves. I mean,
there were times they finished and then Banks got a penalty, or there's times they finished and we see the flag and it's some kind of illegal contact, one of which was a BS call that almost sent my dad off the rails. I was watching with him today. He was so angry at that. He was so fed up with this team. It's very frustrating for fans, especially the older Giants fans who have seen a lot of Giants football. But, those are going to be calls that are made against the Giants or against any team that you watch. If you're a fan of any team, so you can't get mad at that. It is what it is. But there were other times where there were no penalties and the Giants couldn't finish the sacks like you talked about, Nick. And, it is what it is on the Carter front, but I haven't been overly impressed with him of late at all.
The last two games.
Just these last two games. That's a good point. Just of late. But, this was a game I wrote before the game, Nick. I was like, I have a little bit of a good feeling this could be Abdul Carter's breakout game. Like if I'm the Giants and have Abdul Carter, I'm like, let me line him up over that. Like, let's give him some opportunities to take advantage of what the Bears have up front. But it just didn't feel like that he had a lot of opportunities, or at least he didn't cash in on them.
Yeah, and then when Flanagan Fowles went down, and I know he returned, but with the pec injury, the Giants were like, what are we going to do at linebacker, So we move Abdul Carter back there. And then the Giants are also very predictable on 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 8. It's going to be most of the time just cover one quarterback spy against the mobile guy, with that quarterback spy being Abdul Carter. Maybe you see some twists up front. Maybe you'll put Brian Burns sugaring the A gap and then drop him into a middle hook. It's the same stuff. It's the same stale. It's the same stale defense that we've seen. It's done.
Just once this year, Nick, I want to see what the Falcons did at the end of the game to stop the Colts offense, or what the Colts did to stop Penix and the Falcons offense at the end of that game. I'm just using that game because we watched it this morning. If you watch the Island game, put everyone up at the line of scrimmage and bail them out, or don't bail them out, or send them, and just put 8 guys up there and just don't worry so much about the deep half. I feel like this coordinator is just always so focused on, am I protected in the deep half? Am I covered? Not a lot of these quarterbacks can't beat you, dude. They're not going to see it fast enough, first of all, to attack the deep half. Or I saw a couple of times, there was one play with the Falcons where Jones caught the snap and they were blitzing him, and it was a 2-man route combo on that side of the field. There were no safety help, but that route combo didn't work. And then it's he had no option. He had to check down or take the sack. And I think he took the sack on that. So it's just I'd love to see this something different with this Giants defense, man.
I would too. I'm not going to hold my breath though.
No, not with this coach. He sucks. He's really bad at this thing.
Yeah, especially when maybe he could maybe he got by in Tennessee because of Vrabel and because there weren't as many injuries. So that's where you could point to depth. But
yes,
the hallmark of a good coach is to be able to adjust when you are facing adversity. And this coach, no, that's not going to happen whatsoever. No. I am good at doing stuff. Thank you so much. Who would you like to see us hire for head coach and defensive coordinator?
Yeah, it's too early for that for me.
I agree. It is a little bit too early for that. But I do appreciate the question. And
I got some ideas to throw out there. I'm intrigued by, and I want to look more into Clint Kubiak. I'm sure you're along the same lines.
I am.
The guy, Halfley from Boston College, now Green Bay, their defensive coordinator. Intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by, for me, one of my biggest focuses will be on making sure that whatever they do at head coach, they are covered for Jackson Dart. And by that, I mean they really need to be sure they're not bringing in the Shane Bowen of offensive coordinators.
Oh my gosh.
Because it will ruin this kid's career. I mean, we literally watched last year. I looked at it before the game, Nick, and Fox was showing some of the stats. The Bears went from 28th in explosive plays to 1st in 1 year with Caleb Williams. That Shane Waldron literally almost ruined Caleb Williams for good. And Ben Johnson has totally fixed him. And as you'll see from this game. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and the worst part about that, Shane Waldron thing is everyone knew that when the Bears hired him. Like it wasn't even like a carryover. It was like, why
Yeah.
are the Chicago Bears hiring Shane Waldron? Like, did you ever see the
Yeah.
interview with Jackson Smith and Jigba about Shane Waldron?
Yes. That was
It's like
crazy.
the funniest thing in the world because like you could tell Jack like he doesn't want to be like a dick, but they asked about Shane Waldron. He's like, what did he say? He was like, oh yeah, he's a good family man or something. He said
Yeah.
something like vague, like yeah, he's a nice guy, but like no. And everybody who I know, who I respect, that covers the broader NFL was like, why are they doing it? And it was an abject disaster. It
And
was
so
like
we need to avoid that. So we
we
can't
need
do
to
that.
avoid it.
That's focus number one. So I'm intrigued by like ideas like Mike McDaniel. I think is an amazing offensive mind and play sequencer. I would love him to run an offense for Jackson Dart. I'm intrigued by anyone out of that, and he's a part of that Shanahan McVay tree from an offensive standpoint. Outside of that, Gruden has come to mind for me just because I remember liking his offense, and he would really like to work with Dart. I think but that's it's a little too early for me. I got to do my research on it and take a look, honestly.
Which is a little bit difficult
As
to
far as
do during.
GM goes, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, go
like
ahead.
no, it's a little bit difficult to search on the GM front, right?
Yeah,
And
GM is
we're still like in season right now. Like Dan and I, every one of our days is structured a certain
yeah.
way to cover the upcoming game, right? And we don't get a break until bye week, which is week 14. And Giants, I don't know, they might only have 2 wins at that point. Like it's crazy, man.
The Giants also have. I was looking at this earlier. Not that this is that big of a point because I don't care anymore, and I do, and I don't. But like as far as the tankathon stuff goes, Nick, and this tiresome, repetitive, narrative, boring position we find ourselves in, where we have to or we don't have to, but we could look at our standings and our draft position each week. We're going to get screwed by strength of schedule this year, dude. It's going to kill us. If we're tied with a bunch of teams at the end, we're the one picking at the bottom of that tie, Nick, based on our strength of schedule. So that really sucks. That's really sucks.
That's a really stupid.
Yeah. It's a stupid way for them to break the tie. But if there's a lot of teams with 4 wins and we're one of them, we're screwed by it. We're the bottom of that. That could be the difference between the 4th pick and the 10th pick. And it has been in past seasons.
And that would be devastating. But I will say it's not as devastating since the Giants do have a quarterback now. So it's not like it would have been from the 2024 draft, right? Where say if all those
it could be if it's like this class where we run out of blue chips fast, and I haven't studied it yet.
My overall point is this isn't a Drake May. You're missing out on Drake May, Jaden Daniels situation. It's not good. You'd obviously rather pick higher, but it's that context is important. He also says Kubiak and Mike LaFleur are 2 guys.
Sure.
Mike LaFleur,
yeah, those are from the right tree, and so we'll see.
I agree. And we had a couple more squeak in here. We have Jared Barton. Thank you so much. Do we still end up with Dart if we fire Shane and Daboll after last season? And if not, would you suffer through this season to get the franchise quarterback? I like this question.
That's a good question. So hard to predict because we don't know who would be in here, but you could say probably not, right? Or you could even say like if the wrong situation happened, right? Like let's throw this situation out. Great question, by the way, Jared Barton. Let's throw this situation out. Say the rumors that we heard last week, Nick, or whenever it was from Paul Schwartz are true, right? That the Giants are leaning toward firing Daboll and keeping Shane. Say that happened last year and they only fired Daboll and not Shane. Would we have Shedeur Sanders at 3 overall? Because that would be the nightmare of all nightmares for me as a fan. I don't know. I don't even know where I could go from that point on. I don't want to bury the kid yet. He hasn't played football, but I have next to no faith he'll be an NFL quarterback.
I don't know. I don't know if they would have went with a dual quarter. Like I have to imagine Joe Shane, after just firing his, close friend who I don't know what the relationship is now, is probably gonna be like, I need to figure out this quarterback situation. So I have a 3rd overall pick. Let me go with my guy. If his guy is, if it is Shedeur, that would have been tough. You're right. And that's
we've heard that was Brown's guy. But we don't know that for sure. And Shane's guy, but we don't know that for sure.
Yeah, we don't know anything. But to the point that Jared lays out here, like, would we suffer through this season to get that? I would suffer through this season to get that franchise.
Yeah. If Dart, to answer your question, great point, Nick. Bring it back. Great question, Jared. I would 100% out of 100 times suffer through this season if that meant getting our franchise quarterback, especially when you consider A, how hard it is to get a franchise quarterback, B, that next year's class looks like trash to me. Like if I'm going Mendoza, like I have some faith in Mendoza, but like Mendoza at the NFL level with those escape skills, those lack of escape skills, I just feel like you need like a put him in Shanahan's offense or you're screwed, or like bring him in McVay or you're screwed kind of situation. I wouldn't want that here personally. And then it's like Nuss, like there's not a lot of talent. Aller, like what are we going with there? So yes, but I would say this to answer it, and I hate to say it, Nick and Jared, but I would like to get through year 2 before I definitely consider Jackson Dart our franchise quarterback, even though he's shown all signs of being the franchise quarterback. And I have 100% faith that he's going to be our guy. I really feel strong about it. Every week I feel stronger and stronger. We still have to get through year 2 when teams get the tape on him, because I've just seen too many times of regression with players like Stroud, even Jaden Daniels to some extent this year.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point. And I think the listeners of our podcast understand that that's where we're at. But now we could keep mentioning it and keep mentioning it until the cows come home, but we're just evaluating the tape and speaking highly of him based off that tape at this point. But that consistency needs to be bore out over, I would say, like 2 seasons.
Yep.
JCNYC78, what's up? Thank you so much. When I saw Newbin get blocked, thought to myself, duck and spin off the guy or something. Nope, just rode the block. He's not a dog or it's possibly poor coaching.
Yeah.
No, I don't see a lot of dog. Like, dude, I swear the last year I saw him have a certain desire, especially when he was going downhill, right? And he took better angles, and he wasn't exposed. His deficiencies were not exposed nearly as enough. But to the overall Joe Schoen conversation that we're talking about, it's like this has been a pretty substantial second-year regression or lack of development from that 2024 class. Obviously, Malik, what happened to him? That's unfortunate. But Tracy, step back. Theo Johnson, is it a step forward? I don't know. It's a frustrating player, but he is thrust into this position where he is becoming the fulcrum of the passing attack. He's not nearly good enough for that, but he does have talent, right? But it's going to lead to stats. It's also going to lead to frustration because he is the player that he is. And then you have some of the other players as well who just have not taken that step forward that we all hope that they would, like Tyler Nubin and Drew Phillips. Correct. And I'm like, dude, I don't really know if you can sit here and say that 2024 class that hit. Doesn't look like it right now.
Yeah, not yet. It's a big step back for the 24 class so far.
Nah, absolutely.
I mean, you need Nubin to be an impact player if you're going to take him a safety that high. Same thing goes with JMS, who didn't play this game.
Yeah, you let Xavier McKinney walk, Joe Schoen, and you replaced him with Tyler Nubin, who is having a bad sophomore season, and then Javon Holland, who he's not bad, but he's not doing anything. He's not making plays either. Like, who the hell is a playmaker on this defense that's not an edge rusher?
It's amazing that we've gone to week 10 and Nubin and Holland have 0 interceptions.
I know.
I know. And look, crazy, dude. The fact that they don't have an interception is nuts.
Yeah. It's not surprising though. It's not. And it's crazy because this is what we were supposed to be getting from Shane Bowen, right? But who's a playmaker on this defense that's not an edge rusher, and it's not Dexter Lawrence?
It's supposed to be those.
It's like Roy Robertson Harris is making more plays than these guys, and then there's Drew Phillips, who makes dumb plays and who holds way too much and is uber aggressive, and he has tendencies that get him in trouble, but he at least still makes plays.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's important. Exactly I want somebody who is going to make a freaking play. Holland does not make plays. Nubin does not make plays, dude. And that's a problem.
Yep. I mean, you're 100% right, Nick.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Hey, fellas, there are so many more issues with this team behind the scenes than what we see on. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I can only imagine. And you hear people on the beat who go in the locker room like after games, and they give us they paint us a portrait of what the energy is like in that lot, and it's just pure deflation at this point. And you're right, Brendan. Thank you so much, though. And then I am good at doing stuff. Oh no, you already said this. Sorry, and I brought it back up. Igor, thank you. Regressing year 2 is not a death sentence. Development is not linear. Yeah,
we know that.
Linear. Yeah, of course.
We're not saying that.
But what needs to be acknowledged is when we are saying Joe Schoen needs to keep his job because of 2024 draft class, that is where, like, well, not really, because yes, you're sure the development is not linear, but they are not taking the steps that we need them to take. So you can't use that as an excuse not to lose your job or doing a crappy job. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Those are all the supers though, as of right now. Yeah. Those are all the soups, all the soupy soups.
Yep. As far as the game goes, like, we've covered everything we need to cover, I think, in this game. We know what we're at. As far as the Giants go, we'll see what happens on Monday. I don't know at this point what this team's going to do. I don't like, and I think, who was it? I think it was Ralph Vacchiano. Let me see if I could find this again.
Yeah, we got one more super that just came in. Rob, thank you so much. You'll find that, Dan. Rob says, and thank you very much again. Would have been a great win today for Dart over the quarterback that kicked him out. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, man. That's a great point, Rob. Yeah,
this USC storyline, I thought about that for sure.
Yeah, unreal. Jameis is not number 2. The offensive line was walking to the line on that final drive with no hope or urgency. Safe to say the locker room is officially low. Yeah, no, it's I think that locker room was probably on a faulty foundation back in Denver. And then you had that Eagles win, and it's like, hey, let's start building this. Let's start building this foundation. We're laying bricks down. We're doing everything that and then the Denver thing happened. And we're like, you know what? Now burn it all to the ground. And now there really is no foundation, and it's just a toxic, and dare I say toxic environment. Just because for a football team, you need to be on the same page. You need to have some sort of camaraderie. And I'm not saying the guys don't have camaraderie in the locker room, but I do think it's just like, we're toast at this point. I hate this. This is infuriating. This is my job, but like, we can't get out of our own way. We don't have the right leadership. I'm sure those are all things that people have thought about a lot in that locker room.
Yeah. And just to address this real quick, we'll get into that super right after, but from Ralph Vagiano, he said, I think in-season coach firings in the NFL are often pointless unless the culture is toxic, the coach has lost control of their locker room, or the organization wants to audition an assistant as a potential successor, and he thinks none of that currently applies to the Giants right now. And let's say it doesn't. And we may agree or disagree with that, Nick. We may think the culture is toxic, or the coach has lost control of the locker room, one of those two things. But let's say it isn't. There's still reason to fire him. And that's if you believe that the culture that he instills is a losing culture. And this scared way of coaching football games is a losing way. It's give your guys a chance to win football games, especially if Jackson Dart is going to play again this season. And I assume he will, but obviously there's no guarantee on that. If this concussion lingers and the Giants are 2-12, like I'll be curious what happens there. I assume they'll still play him. But yeah, man, I just think there is still another reason to get rid of this coach if they believe they can win games by getting rid of him, because they still want to win football games. Even though for us, we know it doesn't matter for the playoffs. They still want to win for themselves.
Yeah, of course. Pat says, I'm starting to get tired of hearing our pass rushers are so good. They play out of control and have no balance when they get near the quarterback. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I have a lot of respect for the Giants pass rushers.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Burns and Kayvon. And I think Abdul has 2 games where he hasn't really shown up as much, but your point still stands to a degree, right? Because they're not good at locating the quarterback in the pocket when they have it. And that's a difficult job to do. Like, it's not easy, but that's finishing. And we know one thing about the New York Giants is they do not finish at all. And then thank you so much, Dino NCB 2007 for the big donation. That's very kind of you.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And that's our last super.
All right, Nick, any other thoughts on this game or the Giants or anything that you wanted to get off your chest?
Oh, I'm just thrilled to get into the All 22 tomorrow. No, I am. But if anybody wants to listen later tonight, this has nothing to do with the Giant game. This is a plug for myself. I'll be on a Lloyd Rubenstein's show on the Fan, WFAN, after Sunday Night Football. I think it might be around 1 o'clock in the morning. It might be right after Sunday Night Football. But so anybody wants to check that out. And as for the game, bro, thanks, bro. As for the game, look. Who's shocked? Who's shocked that the Giants found a way to blow this? I'm not, right? Like, we can't be at this point. This is a bad team. It's the same stuff I've said for forever at this point. The bad football team, it's poorly coached. It is what it is. Hopefully, whoever is hired by this ownership can right this ship, because this is just getting taxing at this point.
It is. But you should definitely join hop on WFAN later tonight. I think it'll probably be around 1 because I've gone on with Lori before. Check out Nick on there. It's fun. It's cool. I'm excited to hear you on there. I'll listen tomorrow because if you miss it, if you obviously don't want to stay up till 1 a.m. or that's not part of your life, you can find it on the Odyssey app, I believe, tomorrow as well. So you can hear the replay of it. I'm sure. And she asked good questions. So I'm sure she's going to get to the bottom of some stuff with you that will lead to some insightful answers. So more Giants football coming your way with Nick tonight. And then tomorrow we will do our all 22 reviews. We're back in the season, but guess what? Tomorrow, join us at Monday night because you're going to get to see Jackson Dart on tape. Why would you not want to see that? He lit it up in the first half before he got hurt. He was awesome. We're going to see some of those throws and how they looked on the All-22. That's what I'm excited to watch, Nick, to be quite honest with you. So we still got that. The rest of it seems like it sucks, but we still got that. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you soon.